Hello everybody, welcome back to the Fata Morgana playthrough. Now, today we're going to be seeing a really quite intense part of the story, I'd assume, because Michel has just died, obviously, by Didier, out of all people. And, he's going to be killed. Like Morgana, he's not fully died. His dead spirit can sort of see what is going to happen to his body. I suppose we're just going to get another indication of just how different the society in this visual novel and its setting is different to modern day society, at least in most places of the world. In some places it's probably not too different, which is horrible to think about, but yeah, luckily it's not the norm for a lot of places now, which is a good thing. Let's just let's read from the, oh my god, the absolute gut punch when Michel realizes that Didier is the person who is responsible for, well, I mean, ultimately he is the person who's probably responsible for leading the Knights. I love this theme as well, it's done really well. Yeah, fair enough. He had respect for Didier, of course. I mean, he had respect and he had this naive feeling that the world was going to treat him kindly, which is absolutely impossible, it seems like. Yeah. And isn't it horrible to think about the fact that Michel just expects too much? He just expects these people to be too... He just expects to be treated normally, and that's obviously something that can never happen, it seems. And like Michel said, he doesn't think he's made for the world. Just no wonder he thinks that when he just expects the good out of people and then he gets betrayed more than ever. This part of the theme is so nice as well. I forgot about this part. Maybe she could, but the only thing is it's just so distant from the truth. Yeah, exactly. You really did, and that was his most awful mistake. Yeah, but that's the most awful thing. I mean, he's killed already, and yet at the same time now he needs to look down on his own course and he needs to see what will happen. It is just... I mean, God, if it couldn't be painful enough already, you just have this. Yeah, fair enough, yeah. Yeah, so he's just kind of looking from a spectator's point of view, just totally looking at his body. And obviously, oh, Jesus Christ, yeah. Yeah, but the only thing is they view Michel as a piece of filth of the world. As if he needs to be rid of for the world to restore its peace again. Interesting that the villagers are knowing about this. Oh my god, yeah, of course. So... Oh, of course it's Amity. Oh my god. Yeah. Really? Jesus Christ. What did Michel actually do? I mean, isn't it ironic to think about the fact that they don't know much about, obviously, everything that went on in the mansion, so they think that a witch has cursed everybody, and I remember them saying that there was a harvest that was really quite rough, so then they went to the witch and she promised a good harvest, but on the price to pay of there being a curse and obviously their lives being significantly worse. I think that was in Giselle's chapter that we saw that story. And obviously all of the villagers were really afraid of the witch and the curse just because of how much it destroyed the city, I suppose. So yeah, and it's just interesting that they blame all of their problems in their life on the witch. They really do. Yeah, I remember that, yeah. No, I mean, I suppose he hadn't cursed anybody, but I do remember him threatening when the villagers came over, and obviously Giselle's truth was realised by Michel. Yeah, fair enough, but obviously they won't view it like that. They really won't. And with times like these, you really need to be careful about what you say. It's interesting that the knights have set out on their mission and they've used the village as a means of helping them. I suppose they've probably forced the village to. Obviously it was helpful that the village was cooperative, but if they weren't, they probably would have been threatened to. Yeah. Yeah, fair enough, yeah. Really? Sure thing. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, but the only thing is they think you are the witch. That's the thing. Yeah, fair enough. It must be really, really scary. I mean, I suppose at least you're dead and... Well, to be fair, the question is, are you going to feel the pain or won't you? I mean, you'd hope that he won't, but maybe there's a slight possibility that he will. Yeah. That really would be a miracle. Yeah, exactly. He has not done anything wrong. Yeah, fair enough, yeah. I mean, I suppose you're thinking about... I mean, I don't necessarily think they're putting the blame on their sins, but I think they're just blaming any problems in their life on Michel as just something that, something that they can easily blame, really, and that's what will reassure them, so of course they will do it. Yeah, and isn't it interesting just how things like these are taken out of context? And you can just totally see Armidi doing it as well. But to be fair, that is true what Michel was saying, because if they put blame on the witch, then people will think that crimes committed are down to the witch rather than people in the village. And obviously we did see an example of people using others as ways of blaming falsely for a crime happening. Like, for example, when everybody blamed Giselle for doing nothing, basically. Exactly, yeah. Oh, that's too kind. Yeah. Oh my god, you've got to be kidding me. Is Didier going to be the person who delivers the crucifixion? Yeah. I mean, sure, he is doing his job, he probably has to, but at the same time, you would have thought that if he was doing his job, there would just be some sort of indication that he would not want to do it, some sort of indication of nervousness. But there's none of that whatsoever, and he's doing it really without hesitation, and it really does concern you when thinking about how much did he truly love Michel. Yeah. He doesn't even have time to complete his prayers. Well, not really his prayers, but his thoughts. Even just prayers for Didier to look the other way, really. It. God. Yeah, and isn't that quite something? You can really see how something's bad enough for Michel that he's actually crying as well. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And even if you were alive, it would have no way of reaching him, let's be honest here. Yeah. They were probably really quite shocked. Probably the last thing they were expecting. And obviously they blame him for being a witch just so that they can live convenient lives, let's be honest here. So as a result of that, obviously when they see something that's unusual like this, that's just going to reinforce their belief, surely. Yeah. creature. Oh, they're gonna look. They are going... I think if you could expect anything human out of this, well, just think again. If only they would do something that quick. That would be so nice. Yeah, it's not going to be quick, let's be honest here. It's going to be slow, long, painful, and very humiliating as well. Yeah. I don't blame him for wanting that. Yeah, I totally agree, yeah. Yeah. Really? You were always like that, though. Exactly, yeah. People just don't understand that maybe that is not the case. No, there really isn't. I mean, even if there was, you're dead. No, they couldn't, because they just see these people as threats. They don't actually try to understand the person behind said threat. Yeah, and isn't it ironic to think about the fact that all of these people that are doing the crucifixion, they all have this quality, the fact that they can be what they feel they are. And it's totally reasonable for just asking whether something like this is too much to ask, just something that every other person normally has. Surely it could be something that you could have as well. It's just unfair that it isn't, really. Yeah. Oh, well, he's not going to stop it. Yeah. It is nothing short of humiliation. I see what he's saying. The only thing is he has a reputation to uphold. He is not going to do that. Michel is obviously being very, very sentimental. Who would not be? But at the same time, I think he is forgetting about that fact. He does have an image to maintain, and his livelihood is risked if he doesn't have the courage to do this to somebody. I really do wonder what he's thinking. Yeah. Yeah. It must be a very, very difficult job being able... I mean, even in times like these, obviously you think that you were doing something right, but at the same time, doing this to another human being must be so, so difficult. And if you're not a really strong person, you'd definitely be scarred because of something like this. God. And it's your brother who is doing this. Yeah, that disturbing, disgusting sight, that is you. And that is what will become of you even more. God, it really does feel as if his soul is just trying to torture him more. I mean, he just so doesn't deserve this. It's just unusual why he's getting this amount of cruelty. Yeah. God, so repulsive. It really is. Oh, of course they did. I just really wonder what he must be thinking. Is there going to be any indication? What the fuck? Jesus Christ. Yeah. I just really wonder what these black splodges are. I mean, could it possibly be? Sometimes when wounds, when I think it's, yeah, I think when blood clots it becomes darker. Let me just check that. I can't remember. Yeah. So there would probably be wounds that would be quite dark because of the blood having clotted. But also, I suppose there's quite a few causes for it, and I do wonder if there could have been. I wonder if any of his wounds could have been infected as well. Which, I mean, it wouldn't be surprising considering that. I mean, firstly, you're putting. Well, I mean, to be fair. Actually, to be fair, I've never really thought about that. Let me just see something. Oh, I didn't actually find anything. I just really wonder what's happened for his wounds to go all black and look terrifying. But I suppose that's probably just because well, I don't actually know why it is. It's just I usually imagine that when you see a dead body in a position like this, it's just, I don't know, I just kind of have a recollection of all of the parts that have been stabbed and around them, everything being a lot darker. I don't know, I don't really know, like, anything about this. As you could probably tell. Yeah, so I suppose you are left to rot, and obviously you will be decomposed. But I just really do wonder if, like, a dead body can actually get infected like a living body would. Like, let's say, for example, you have a nail plunged into your, I don't know, hand. And the metal makes direct contact with everything that's inside your hand, and that metal is probably not clean. So, I mean, I just wonder if it could get infected, and then maybe some sort of disease could have been caused by that. I've got no idea. Jesus Christ. These people really are sick, and it is interesting that you just see somebody like this, and you see all of these people. I mean, normally you'd interpret it as total bullying of a very evil nature, but people think they're probably doing something good because this person is just what they consider to be such filth. And I mean, it's kind of one of those questions, do you blame the people or do you blame the society? It's horrible. Yeah, otherwise you'll end up like Michelle, apparently. Well, just lucky you're not born as an intersex person, then. Jesus Christ. Yeah, fair enough. Black feathered birds. Totally agreed, yeah. Yeah. What? What do you mean? Jesus Christ. Yeah, these kids probably know they're going to be able to get away with this. That's unbelievable. This just really shows just how little respect there is. And it also shows that the parents are not exactly going to tell them off. It's not only the kids that feel this disrespect. Yeah. What? Who is this? Oh, you have got to be kidding me. Is this something really quite awful? Or is it Amy? How could something be even worse than this? Yeah, that's way worse. Yeah, okay, I can see that. Oh my god. That was not what I was expecting. God. Yeah, fair enough, yeah. No matter how old she is. Yeah, and I wonder that too. I mean, is she going to grieve? Yeah. And then, unfortunately, the woman who can never accept you. Because the thing is, his mother loves Michelle with L-E at the end rather than just E-L. No, let's put that in a way that's not completely awful. The female Michelle rather than the male Michelle. And she could never accept Michelle for who he truly was. Fair enough. Yes, you did. What? Oh, yeah. I mean, when she says father here, is she talking about her actual father, or probably more likely God? Is she hallucinating something? The only witch here is your lack of ability to accept who your offspring truly is. Well, she's definitely... What it's interesting is just... It's just Liddy being so dishonest with what is truly making her feel like this. But obviously she would never have the capacity to think like that just because it wasn't something commonly done in society at the time. Yeah, I can definitely see why. So you're going to see Didio, you're going to see Liddy. What's going to happen with Georges? Is he going to come and completely slander you? Who knows? With Amy probably arm in arm and everything. Looking really quite intimate. Bet you anything. Exactly, yeah. Yeah, fair enough, yeah. It's clearly not two ways. Really? Yeah, totally. That was before everything changed. Yeah. Apart from the fact that this demon was your daughter. Yeah. Exactly, yeah. But she can never ever hear that or realise that. Yeah, but he did it just so that she could be happy. And I suppose it's another gut punch in the sense that he's tried so hard and yet nothing has changed. I mean, it makes sense that nothing has changed, but that's still an undeniable fact. Yeah, fair enough. I mean, it's awful. You've had a personality that you've wanted to completely disregard and one that hasn't ever fitted you, and here, when you write this letter, you need to kind of immerse yourself in their personality, and you need to just be so dishonest to yourself. I don't blame him. Yeah, she doesn't care whatsoever. Sure. Oh, I see what Michel was doing. So he was obviously trying to make the mother feel better, just to make the mother feel like the person that she has obviously put so much thought into raising and care. is still there with her. But that's probably just made it even worse when he's died, and it's as if the demon has taken over, and the demon has taken over the form of Michel as well as the mind. Unfortunately, I think that's what he's done. Yeah. Really? Oh, you have got to be kidding me. What? God. Just add extra insult to injury. But of course, she feels as if she is eradicating the thing that has possessed Michel from the world, without ever realising that this is who he truly is. Yeah. It's so not right that Michel has to think something like that. It's not his fault whatsoever. But at the same time, it's not the mother's fault either. It's just seriously bad luck. Good. I agree. Yeah, I agree. Because the thing is about knowing happiness is it unfortunately made him illogical. Kind of like the mother in a way. The mother knows the happiness of of having Michel as a daughter, so then obviously that makes her unable to accept who Michel truly is. But I suppose it's kind of like this in the sense that Michel was happy, and then maybe he thought that there would be some sort of hope in his family, and maybe Michel would be able to be accepted. But no. And the only thing is as well, I think even if the mother was dead, I think it would have been unrealistic for Michel to come back because, let's be honest, Didier and Georges, they both have a reputation to hold. Could they really be dealing with Michel? Just possibly ruining that reputation? Because if people realised what he was hiding, then of course. But isn't it so wrong that we have to think like that, that he actually has to hide something like this? That he can't be defined by his personality and rather what his body is like. But yeah, I suppose you make mistakes when you are happy and then that causes everything afterwards to be even worse. If Michel had never made these mistakes, what would have happened? How much longer would they have been able to spend with each other? That's my question. Fair enough. Yeah. Yeah, because at least before, I suppose, you never had much good in your life. But now you have had the best times in your life. And now they've all gone. Fair enough. Morgana had given in to hatred, I see that. Yeah. Yeah, I suppose. So I suppose, yeah, you hate yourself rather than bearing a grudge against anybody. Interesting. Yeah, being trapped. Always fated to come back to the mansion. What? So how would you hear a sound? What? That's interesting. Yeah, fair enough. Jordan, look at how much we are jumping in time when we see Giselle here. Oh, I get it, yeah. I suppose in that sense, recognition and an actual desire to be with them as well. Yeah. Oh yeah, totally. Yeah. And Michel had even forgotten who he was. Michel easily had the potential of becoming the white-haired girl as well. And that's something that's quite significant. Really? I'll believe you when I've actually seen Giselle denying Michel. I still believe that. Yeah. Of course he wouldn't. True. God, I really do wonder what's going to happen now. Jesus Christ. Oh god, Morgana has so much that can actually make sense in her argument. That's the worst thing about all of this. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's unusual. Yeah. Not with Giselle, and I suppose Michel's realising the truth and he's just finding it really hard to stomach it. Yeah. You are really taking that out of context. God. Oh, it probably looks like a total mess. What? Yeah. God, what a CG. God. Yeah, it is. It's a really quite good CG though, my god. I think they're definitely cutting down on the gore. Let's be honest, it probably looks a lot more disgusting than that in real life. Quite a bit. To be honest, Michel was the person who caused his death, but it's reasonable why he did. He still caused it though, that was his biggest mistake. I like this little part on the little background for the text. It just looks like a stain of blood. Really? I'll see it when I believe it. Sorry, I'll believe it when I see it. Yeah. You, maybe? God. He does, I totally agree. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, and that's why it's so powerful. And to think that Morgana is still doing something like this. Why? Why does she care this much? And he still says that. They're not similar at all. They could have been, but they're not. There's going to be a price to pay for this, let's be honest here. But what about Giselle? Is that really the best thing for Michel? What about Giselle? Oh my god. Holy fuck. So interesting. So is this a timed choice? Oh my god. I mean, yeah, reasonable, but who is this? Yeah, there she is. Oh my god. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that is something that he really needed to hear, let's be honest. Yeah. The real her. No, totally. Yeah. And look at, I mean, it's literally over 1,000 years later. It's such an incomprehensible amount of time, and yet at the same time, he is still true to himself. I mean, Giselle was really, really telling the truth. Yeah. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. And quite literal hell. I mean, who could ever withstand being talked down and tempted by somebody like Morgana? Yeah. Yeah, totally reasonable. Yeah. Yeah, it wasn't even for himself. Yeah, totally reasonable. That's really well put. Oh, what's he gonna say? True. At least it was for somebody who was worth it, though. Yeah, I suppose so. And yet she's, yeah. I mean, he's got so much reason to have anything but. Fair. And no matter how much Morgana tried to separate them, he would always have some sort of hope of coming back. Especially like the end of Door 6, that was a really good example. Yeah, fair enough. True. Why is she fading away? That's a really nice analogy. I like how that's put into context here. I don't know why, but I have a really bad feeling about this. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough. That's so unusual. She still says that. Let's listen to the theme, why not? I thought he was speaking Japanese for a second. It really sounded like he had an accent. God, this sounds weird. Is he speaking? No. Just kind of sounded like it. Sounds very unusual. Anyway, that was really, really nice. What I think we're going to do, I'm going to call it a day for now, and then we're just going to go over everything that we've read, just to get some more out of it tomorrow. Oh my god, that was so good, and it was a very, very powerful scene, just seeing Giselle totally able to get the feelings through to Michel and really, really convince him that, as well, he's not the white-haired girl. I think it was really, really sweet, and it's interesting. I think this is going to be exciting. Setting Morgana free. How the hell are we going to do it? And it's interesting because this is the door where we had seen Morgana's story, and yet we have not been able to set her free. We have not been able to, I suppose, because obviously Giselle was still there and we were caring about Giselle more than Morgana, but the only thing is, it's interesting that we could potentially have mercy for her. I just wonder what's going to go on and what the true door is going to be here. So, yeah, it'll be really quite exciting to experience that tomorrow. Right, okay, day 2 of this video, because I was really tired yesterday. Yeah, what we're going to do today is just kind of analyse everything we've read, and then we're going to save the beginning of the, I would assume, 8th door for tomorrow even. And we get to listen to this amazing, amazing theme. I love the piano on this theme, seriously, it's so well done. So I'm not complaining at all. Oh yeah, let's go from the part where Michel's soul completely crashes. Yeah, oh totally, yeah. So it's interesting with Michel praying for his own extinguishment, I suppose just hating himself so much that he, I mean, I suppose he doesn't really hate other people because himself is, well, he himself and what he was born like was what caused them to have hatred towards him. So I suppose he hates them rather than hating the other people for hating how he is and how his body is, which is a really quite surprising take. does kind of make sense in a way, but it's just interesting. But I suppose both ways are ultimately going to give you more pain if you hate yourself or if you hate other people more just for something that's happened. Yeah, and he doesn't give in to hatred. That's interesting. Yeah. I'm not misremembering, am I? God, what a line. But isn't that interesting? It's so weird how you can just really tell. You just really have admiration for Michel. Obviously, he doubts himself and he doubts everything around him. But do you know, he never doubts his love for Giselle. Look, seriously. And I suppose his soul is just... I like the description that says he's just instinctively drawn to it, and he just without even reasoning as to why it's the case, he knows that it's something that will benefit him and something that's good. Yeah, but God. Yeah, because it's just too cruel. Yeah, my God. Isn't that brutal? You just see Michel and his soul trying instinctively and trying as hard as possible to reach back to Giselle, but at the same time, Giselle forgetting, and it really gives you the impression of something that has a time to it. And obviously something that so could have gone wrong as well. I mean, they both lost sight of who they were in the end as well. Yeah. Yeah, but that's interesting. So I suppose all of the pain you've had in life is just totally gone when you think about this one. That's interesting. Yeah. But it does kind of make sense when you think about how Michel lives and what Giselle has done for her. God, and there was me always thinking that Morgana was the one responsible for the reincarnation of Michel. But I suppose if Morgana was responsible, then you always have the question of why did Michel actually be able to reunite with, what's her face, Giselle? Or the maid, or whatever you want to call her. She's both, technically. I mean, she could be called the maid because she's lost sight of herself so much that she no longer has right to call herself Giselle. And I suppose she built a protective shell. She became the protective shell rather than using that protective shell as a means of protecting Giselle. She kind of forgot what she was protecting. There we are, finally got it out. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, and the only thing, and it is quite literally darkness within light. And it's really quite odd that Michel's soul chases with it. I mean, like Morgana says, it's the realm of the dead, so obviously logic of what we know applies in the world of the living doesn't really apply here. Which, good, that makes sense. If that wasn't the case, there would have been a lot of plot holes by something ridiculous like this. Isn't that interesting, though? You can just see Giselle constantly praying. Probably never ever thinking that these prayers would reach somebody, but they did. That's the thing. So I suppose there was just a dot of light, just some sort of indication of light, but you're unable to pinpoint its exact location. I'm kind of imagining like the ray of light being something that you get sucked into when you are kind of in a straight line from where, well, the source of the light. Yeah, that's interesting, yeah. Yeah. Give them back the meaning and desire that you have received from them. Michel's probably lost sight of himself and doesn't even remember who this is, and yet he just instinctively feels like that. And that's interesting with instinct. Sometimes it is the most nonsensical. Like, let's be honest, it is here. And yet he still feels it, which is really quite cool. I mean, my god, this is just the definition of a passionate romance. Holy shit. Yeah, fair enough, yeah. So it kind of is as if this... I was imagining the void as kind of like a straight line that he was travelling in, that his soul was travelling in. But now I'm imagining it, his soul travelling vertically upwards. Just because he mentions it being deep. Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, it does make sense. And especially when you tie the white-haired girl into it. Yeah, exactly. I love this scene so much. Oh, here it is. There. What? Did I accidentally click the right arrow key? I think I might have. Fuck off. They really do have a lot they can share. And a lot they have in common. I mean, heck, they even have body-related problems, both of them. I mean, obviously, Giselle's is because Antonin is a sick fuck. He probably enjoyed doing that as well. He probably did it because he could. And he just used Giselle not coming every single time she was called as an excuse. He's disgusting. Yeah, and I suppose Michel's... It's interesting that it kind of... Yeah, but I like this because I suppose it shows Michel dies and then his soul sinks, and it's kind of like his soul is a real representation of what he is in life. But the only thing that's really weird is what you are in life then kind of decides just how your soul's going to either totally sink or, I suppose, go upwards. So what I'm just trying to say is, if you die, let's say you die, but if you didn't die, you would have changed because, I don't know, let's say you're a really good person and then, I don't know, you get brain damage or something and then you become a psychopath. If you died as a good person, then your soul will be going upwards. But if you died as a bad person, then your soul will be going downwards. So what I'm trying to say is it's really weird, basically. Just everything in your life influences after your life. In this case, I suppose. Yeah, but that's interesting. Yeah, Morgana just trying to seek common ground with Michel, but at the same time, this is not true. I mean, are you forgetting somebody called Giselle exists? Really? You're telling me that was Giselle? Yeah, sure thing. Yeah, but it is interesting. So Morgana is making it so that Michel feels as defeated as possible. Yeah, and just no uniqueness and nothing special about her. That's what she's trying to convince Michel of. Yeah, it's interesting. This is brutal. Yeah, so bring Giselle down, but also bring Michel down. Yeah, he believed all of that, and the next scene will really, really disprove this horrible, horrible temptation. Because isn't it interesting? I think Morgana knows that this love is more alive than it has ever been before. And yet at the same time, she is just trying her hardest to tear it apart. But why? Why is she doing that? And I really, really hope that's what the final door is going to tell us. Actually, I changed my mind, by the way. We're going to do all of the choices that we haven't seen so far. And then we are going to do the door number 8. So there's a timed choice, and there's also the choices where you have to pick the 3 men in order. We're gonna not follow the order and see if we can get some extra endings from it. And also the time choice that will come up just in a short while. Short while is such a weird phrase. It's oxymoronic. Fuck off. No, I'm not used to using that. Yeah. But Jesus Christ, isn't it interesting? You were just seeing Michel has tried so hard, and he's realizing just how special Giselle is, and what his soul actually did to get to Giselle. But at the same time, Morgana is just trying her hardest to psychologically tackle Michel. Yeah. Yeah, this is brutal. But the only thing is, I suppose, Michel lost his spirit and he lost himself so much that it's as if he has come back as someone that... No, it's really weird, because I suppose if Michel has come back as a woman, then surely the number one insecurity in his life has just been totally gone. Obviously, there are a few other insecurities, like, for example, sensitivity to the sunlight, but this one's gone. It's so weird. Yeah. Yeah, Michel just can't bear it anymore. But the only thing is, it is interesting because it's just totally a reasonable argument that you can twist. Sure, this was the case, but at the same time it does prove that Michel's soul was directly coming back to Giselle, and even though it didn't fully reach it, there was indication that it was trying its best, but it failed. Yeah, but it's such a gut punch. I don't think this is true whatsoever. And isn't it interesting, when you see this, you kind of realise the kindness in Michel's character. But it's really weird to think about the fact that here, Michel was blind. And he's always had problems with sight, and not like short-sightedness, long-sightedness, no. Sensitivity to sunlight and blindness. Yeah. This especially. And just another gut punch. Just get everything Michel stands for and reduce it. Oh, do they now? It is weird to think about the fact that these wounds, I don't think this is true. These wounds, I remember them coming from Morgana when she was telling Michel her story, and obviously making Michel experience what she had to experience. But now I suppose she's modified it so that Michel feels like this, which is really odd. Yeah. Yeah, got that too. Fair enough, yeah. The wounds will never heal. Unless you accept Giselle. How brutally put. Isn't this interesting? What, you're really telling me that Michel's birth and obviously his abnormality was something that his fault was, something that he was the person you should blame for? Really? Holy shit, my house's water tastes so much better in the winter than in the summer. I fucking love cold water. Yeah. To be honest, Michel's death was really, really caused by his naivety. But let's be honest, it would have inevitably happened. Unfortunately, love made him blind to reality. Yeah, Morgana just... yeah. And it's the worst because, yeah, this mutilated body. This is the time choice I was talking about. I like this theme. But this is interesting. And it really, really is surprising to think that Michel has always had such willpower, and no matter what Morgana has done, he has never ever been able to curse somebody. And it's interesting here, just this. What is actually going to be gained for Morgana if she makes Michel curse somebody, apart from her having somebody that can understand her? I mean, she is the most evil, horrible, and awful person. I mean, look at how she was talking Michel down and obviously convincing him that there was nothing related to, well, no potential with Giselle. Yeah, it's just obvious that she has some sort of ulterior motive that we'll hopefully discover later. That is interesting. I mean, yeah, sure, what Morgana said is good-willed, but what about Giselle? And surely, why does their love have to be endless? Sorry, why does it not have to be endless? Why does it have to have an end for Michel's soul going into the human realm again? Human realm? Dude, it's fucking planet Earth. Human realm? What am I even talking about? Well, I suppose human realm and spirit realm. We are in the spirit realm at the moment, so we then go to the human realm. I'm not being too unreasonable, I don't think. Yeah, totally. Yeah, and he deserves it after how much prosecution he's got. Sorry, persecution, I meant to say. Yeah, it's interesting. Let everything go. Let your love go. Let yourself go. But don't let your soul go. And then you have a life of your dreams. But you don't have the love of your dreams. That's the thing. That's the catch. Yeah, don't listen to her. She's full of shit. Actually, let's see if we can go to the save here. Oh, we can. Do you know what? I won't, because I want to save listening to the new song for tomorrow. I do wonder what happens if we actually click this. Screw letting go. I think it's so funny with these choices. They probably know that we're going to hesitate because we just have no idea what we're doing. Oh, this is going to be such a cool conversation. Morgana was clearly seeing something. Sorry, clearly wanting to see something in Michel. Yeah, I love that. That's very, very true. I mean, it has survived for so fucking long. I mean, even the white-haired girl. I mean, sure, she fell in love with a different person, but it was still evidence that Michel's soul was being drawn towards Giselle. And isn't it interesting that Giselle is not the maid anymore, and it really is as if she is broken out of her protective shell because of the fact that the person that has made her remember herself and obviously made her understand her past rather than completely reject it like she did before, because obviously it was really painful, but all of the horrible things that happened. Yeah. Does make sense. Yeah, I like that, yeah. And Giselle could never ever do this to Michel. Fuck. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Michel had so much doubt about whether Giselle was going to accept her, but I mean, obviously, he was always just doubting himself because he didn't think he was the person worthy of being in a companionship with Giselle. And even though Giselle was being so honest, he never had the courage to do so. Yeah. So Michel has done anything to accept Giselle. So obviously, why would it not be the other way as well? What Some Illusion says, isn't that interesting? Yeah, I totally agree, yeah. Yeah, that's fair. But the only thing is, I mean, okay, Michel did despise himself, sure. Anyway, turn the music down a bit. But, yeah, that does make sense. When you think about the fact that it does seem like Michel has doubted his love, and obviously, I suppose, when he was told by... No, he really doubted himself, and he never thought he himself was worthy of somebody like Giselle. So I suppose what happens when he's told by somebody who's a complete replica of Giselle that that he's worthless and that he's not exactly a man at all. Yeah, just totally giving Michel that extra piece of trauma. Yeah, when that happened, I suppose Michel was too weak to actually doubt it. I suppose, because he's saying this, he probably found it unusual that Giselle was saying this, but at the same time, he just didn't have the strength to kind of counteract it. So, yeah. Yeah, fair enough. That's interesting. I suppose it's just another indication of Michel totally doubting himself, because I suppose to Giselle he did appear obviously as a very flawed person, but at least at the end somebody who was quite strong and obviously had a few good bones on their body. in their body even. But anyway, yeah. Yes, well, I suppose it's really quite weird for Michel just to see this change. And with Giselle, I suppose. Yeah, totally, yeah. Yeah, and he just can't accept himself. But look at Giselle just doing everything she can to disprove what Michel was thinking. True. True. No matter how much you were tempted, you chose not to curse the people who have totally ruined your life, even though it felt like, I don't know, you just get everything in terms of goodness from that. That would be just all the solutions to your life right there. Or at least it would appear like that. It wouldn't be in reality. Yeah. Yeah, not for himself. Yeah, you can definitely see here how Michel's true to himself. I see that. I don't know why I've not paused my video, but okay. Fucking hell, it's cold. I need to put socks on. Even though I do have the heating on a bit. Yeah, and he never did it for himself, never. And you can really see that even though he hasn't really had much of an opportunity to demonstrate it, he was really quite selfless in the end. But to be fair, in the beginning, ironically, he was really, really selfish because he would do anything, no matter how much it inconvenienced those around him, just so that he could be the person that he felt true. Well, he could be the person he thought he was, and he could be the person true to himself. True. I wonder how Giselle's going to justify this. Oh shit. Sorry, I just had to I had to have a bit of a break then, so yeah. Just want to see where I left off. He always wants to prove something to Giselle when he doesn't realise that Giselle will accept him no matter what is happening and who he is, because she's a kind person. And let's be honest, Michel has found a very, very lucky, or a very lucky situation here. Yeah, yeah. Isn't it ironic when you think about this? I kind of think about Didier, the one who never cried, who never showed weakness, but also the one who betrayed his family member that put all of his trust into him and who admired him. Being somebody who shows nothing but courage is not a good thing. It's kind of like with a smile, like he said himself. Never trust a person who always smiles. Never trust a person who always shows courage. Never trust a person who appears to be perfect. Michel does have this ideal image of himself, which is totally understandable, but just how good is an image like that is what I'm kind of trying to get at. Yeah. He is. And after this many years, he has not been able to lose himself when, obviously, when he rediscovers it, when he rediscovers what he truly is. If it wasn't for his persistence and his strength in the love, as we saw in some of those endings, he would have been accepted as the white-haired girl with Giselle, which is actually quite hard to believe because the maid would have been in her shell and Michel would have been the false version of himself. And it's just really interesting how the causes, well, what depends on the things that are dependent on these people actually discovering themselves and being able to maybe accept themselves too. Yeah. Yeah, true, in a way. It shows how close people are because only lovers could know something like this. And it also shows how much Giselle loves Michel because obviously she's not going to be like the crowd. She's actually going to accept Michel for this. Yeah, fair enough. True, that is very, very true. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Weird. Yeah, isn't that interesting? So, yeah, I suppose there are a few blanks in the memory of Michel, but obviously that's because Michel was not living those memories. How could... I mean, it's weird because they have the same soul, and yet at the same time, the Michel that has defined himself ever since he was born, that is different to the white-haired girl. And I suppose it does make sense that there are blanks in Michel's memory because he didn't have said memories. They are the memories of someone else, I suppose. I mean, after all, what Giselle said somewhere later on. Why did all of the stories get told to us and yet we have no replaying of them whatsoever? So it's weird to think about the fact that the white-haired girl actually has the same soul as Michel, and yet at the same time, Michel is not the white-haired girl. So weird. It's cool though, it really is. I love Giselle. I mean, she's just saying, you are somebody worth fighting for, and obviously making Michel realise that he is a really, really good, determined, and also just in general, I suppose, genuine person who's true to himself. And now you're making it so that he feels good about himself in this sense. Yeah, my god. If Michel wants therapy, he should just go to Giselle, seriously. Like, ever. Yeah. Yeah, I like that. Your own heart, not somebody else's. Because let's be honest, the white-haired girl did not recognise Giselle whatsoever. Obviously, she sensed familiarity, but no recognition. Yeah, exactly, yeah. Yeah, exactly, yeah. I love that, yeah. Does it matter? Does it really matter? Yeah, yeah, exactly. And isn't it funny? Imagine if they had love for an extended period of time and it actually broke off. God. It really is a gamble when you think about it like that. If anybody has read Meakashi, Meakashi spoilers from Higurashi, but yeah, it reminds me of Shion and Satoshi, what Shion does for Satoshi even though she's known him for such a little amount of time. In especially 1983. Obviously a very different and more vivid example, but still kind of the same concept. He did fight with everything he had, I see that. And obviously to make it so that he is not phased by Morgana. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, what happened to never trust a person who is always smiling? Yeah. You've never got them in your life, but you haven't. You have had those words after your life. I just find it so unusual that Giselle Scatters, I suppose, she has been allowed to escape the mansion, and her spirit has been, I suppose, liberated by Michel in a way. And I really do wonder, because obviously now we're going to get the liberation of Morgana's spirit potentially, and when Morgana's spirit is liberated, I suppose Michel's will be as well. And I suppose once his spirit is liberated and he doesn't have anything to do with the mansion, he'll then just be able to spend eternity with Giselle. Kind of like in those bad endings where the white-haired girl and the maid just spent the entirety of the time in the mansion. I wonder if it's kind of similar to that in a sense. Yeah, fair enough, yeah. Yeah. It is so amazingly powerful that it's very reasonable. But this is the definition of two people who have found each other, who are right for each other, let's be honest here. Yeah, true, but at the same time, I mean, what's better? Being like kids or being miserable and not being in love? Yeah, they never got the chance. Isn't that unbelievable? But it's just because of Michel's inferiority to himself. He could never, ever accept himself, so that's why their love could never progress to, let's be honest, what it should have progressed to in their living time. It did when they were dead, but yeah. No, don't. Yeah, totally. And her personality never changes. Yeah, yeah, fair enough. The mansion dissolves. Hard to believe. Yeah, because I suppose there is not a possibility of you stepping back into the mansion and completely losing yourself like there was before, because obviously now, I suppose, like he says, is everything has changed. And the thing that Giselle has taught Michel to do is actually accept himself and accept who he is, and just be able to realise that he is special and he is brilliant no matter what happens. And good. Holy shit, somebody like Michel needs Giselle. God. Very, very positive picture. Bright blue light and then reality. What is truly going to be by this door? I really do wonder. Because I suppose we looked into Morgana's door. We went up to the staircase and then we haven't actually opened the door yet, which is very unusual. I will wait until 2 days, hopefully. And then we'll be able to read that. Yeah, it really is as if they are tied together. Yeah. Yeah, totally. What I find very interesting about this is the purpose of the 7th door, because I have saved, haven't I? Yeah, saved yesterday. The purpose of the 7th door was to make it, if you ask me, so that Michel totally loses sight of himself and Giselle, because Morgana really underestimated how powerful the love was. So then what I think happens is there's going to be something really, really heavy in this door that would maybe make it so that Michel, I don't know, would want to go to Morgana? I don't know, it's just something really heavy about possibly Morgana's story. So, whatever it would be, Morgana would want Michel to be fully understanding and obviously feeling similar to her before said door is opened. Which is very unusual, and I do wonder what said door is going to be. I'm excited, really am. Right, okay, let's just kind of look at what we are going to look at next. Okay, so you get an ending if you go, oh shit, let's just get, I didn't read anything in the final chapter, but holy fuck, I could have got spoilers. Really, really bad spoilers then. Okay, so yeah, right. Dead ends, okay. Interesting. Weird, I really do wonder what these dead ends are. That's going to be exciting. So, yeah, this is the plan for tomorrow. We'll do all 3 dead ends. I bet you we're going to get jump scared. Bet you anything. I'm excited for that. And then we're going to do the let go ending. We should probably do the let go ending first. No, actually. Nah, let's do this set of endings first. Because it's a bit more relevant. My god. Oh well, that's going to be exciting. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I will see you all in the next one.